Derrick Henry potentially joining the Dallas Cowboys in the 2025 NFL season is not just another offseason rumor, it could be the most groundbreaking shift in offensive philosophy the franchise has seen in over a decade. Known across the league as one of the most physically imposing and dominant running backs of the modern era, Derrick Henry's reputation precedes him. The former Tennessee Titans superstar is a human bulldozer at 6'3", nearly 250 pounds, with a rare combination of brute force, top-end speed, and a punishing stiff arm that sends defenders flying like bowling pins. Now, as reports continue to circulate about his possible move to Dallas, fans and analysts alike are buzzing about the potential transformation this would bring to an already explosive offense and what this means for their NFC East rivals, especially the Philadelphia Eagles. Henry, who has consistently defied expectations about the running back position and its longevity, is entering the next phase of his career with plenty of mileage left in the tank. He's posted multiple seasons of 1,500-plus rushing yards and double-digit touchdowns, carried the Titans on his back during deep playoff runs, and remains one of the most feared rushers in the league. His physicality breaks games open and wears defenses down over 4 quarters, something Dallas hasn't had in recent years since the decline of Ezekiel Elliott. While Tony Pollard showed flashes, he lacked the durability and inside power to be a true workhorse, and last season's committee approach simply wasn't enough to scare elite defenses. Bringing in Henry would instantly flip the dynamic, giving the Cowboys a legitimate bell cow back who can carry the ball 20-25 times per game and grind out critical yards when the offense needs to control tempo or close out a win. From a schematic standpoint, Henry's addition could revolutionize how the Cowboys structure their entire offensive game plan. With Brian Schottenheimer stepping up as offensive coordinator and a more balanced, physical identity being prioritized, Henry becomes the perfect piece to build around. Instead of relying solely on Dak Prescott's arm and the timing-based passing game that has often struggled in high-pressure playoff moments, Dallas could now pivot to a more run-dominant philosophy, much like the 2016 season when they leaned on rookie Zeke and a dominant O-line. With Henry pounding defenses early in games, play-action opportunities would open up drastically, allowing CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks to feast on mismatches and secondaries forced to respect the run. It also lightens the load on Doc, reducing turnover risk and putting him in more favorable down and distance situations. You can already picture the nightmares this would create for opposing defensive coordinators: stack the box and risk getting beat deep, or sit back and let Henry gash you for 5-7 yards a carry. The balance this type of offense brings is elite-level stuff. It becomes less about high-risk, highlight plays and more about methodical dominance, the kind that wins games in December and January. And make no mistake, this isn't just about stats or fantasy football upside. It's about identity. The Cowboys have lacked a clear offensive identity for years, bouncing between shootouts and conservative, stagnant performances. With Henry, they could finally commit to an offense that wins through physicality and control, traits often associated with championship teams. Of course, all of this excitement brings another layer of drama: the NFC East picture. With the Eagles returning their high-powered roster, including the recently added Saquon Barkley and a receiving core led by A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, the division was already on fire heading into 2025. But the potential arrival of Derrick Henry in Dallas tilts the competitive balance and sets the stage for one of the most epic divisional showdowns in recent memory. Imagine a Cowboys vs. Eagles primetime battle with Henry on one side and Barkley on the other, a heavyweight duel of offensive firepower and physical dominance. These games wouldn't just be about flashy passes and clever schemes, they'd be wars in the trenches, where whoever wins the battle up front controls the outcome. The Eagles, as strong as they are on both sides of the ball, would have to contend with the relentless physicality of Henry. No more leaning on undersized linebackers or hoping for backfield penetration on every play. You'd need big bodies and gap discipline to stop a guy like Henry. It would force Philly's defense to make adjustments, especially considering their recent inconsistency against top-tier running backs. And the ripple effects are huge if Philly has to allocate extra resources to the box to contain Henry. That opens up the air for Dallas to hit deep roots and crossing concepts that have previously been smothered. Beyond the rivalry implications, there's also the question of Henry's fit within Dallas's culture and locker room. Known for his work ethic, leadership, and quiet dominance, Henry would immediately command respect. He's not a flashy personality or a locker room distraction, he's a tone setter, someone who does his talking between the lines. That's exactly the kind of presence Dallas needs if they want to transition from perennial playoff hopeful to true contender. Too often, this team has faltered under the spotlight, riddled with inconsistency and late-season collapses. With Henry, they add someone who's been there before, carried a franchise on his back, and done so with class and focus. And let's not forget the message it sends to the rest of the league. Dallas is serious about winning now. Adding a player like Henry signals a win-now mentality, the kind of aggressive move championship-caliber organizations make when they believe the window is open. It's also a huge morale boost for the locker room. Young players step up when leaders like Henry set the tone, and veterans rally behind proven weapons who elevate the entire team's performance. Financially, questions will linger. Henry isn't cheap, and Dallas isn't known for throwing money at older backs. But with major contracts now cleared and cap flexibility returning, the numbers might finally align. Combine that with a front office that feels the pressure to win now, especially with Mike McCarthy's seat getting warmer every season, and it's easy to see why they might be willing to bend their usual cap philosophy. The argument that running backs don't matter is also slowly fading, especially in situations like this where a singular talent can completely change the offensive flow. Henry isn't just another back, he's the prototype, the exception to the rule. And in a division where physicality often determines the outcome, Henry may be the exact force multiplier the Cowboys need to separate themselves. From the fan perspective, the hype would be unreal. Henry in a star-emblazoned helmet, running through defenders on Thanksgiving Day, breaking free under the lights at AT&T Stadium. It's the kind of imagery that fuels fan dreams and network ratings. Jerseys would fly off shelves. Media attention would spike. But beyond all the glitz, it would signal a deeper shift, the Cowboys returning to their roots as a run-first, smash-mouth football team. That brand of football resonates in Texas. It's part of the franchise's DNA from the Emmitt Smith days to the brief revival with Zeke. Fans crave that identity. They want a team that punches first and dominates physically. Henry gives them that and more. His playoff resume alone demands respect, and his ability to carry an offense through cold weather games makes him invaluable during the most critical stretch of the season. There will, of course, be skeptics. Critics will point to Henry's age, his mileage, and the historical data on running back decline. Some will question if Dallas is making a short-sighted move, sacrificing long-term planning for a splash signing. But every bold move carries risk. And in today's NFL, where parity reigns and windows close quickly, sometimes it takes a gamble to reach greatness. Henry's recent production doesn't suggest he's slowing down. If anything, he's evolving, finding smarter ways to punish defenses without taking unnecessary hits. His offseason training is legendary, his conditioning elite, and his mindset that of a competitor who still believes he can be the best in the league. For Dallas, the opportunity to land a player of his caliber, even for a short-term deal, may be too tempting to pass up. Especially when you consider the ripple effect on the rest of the offense. As we look ahead to the 2025 season, the storyline of Derrick Henry potentially joining the Cowboys adds a thrilling layer of uncertainty and excitement to what's already shaping up to be a legendary year. The Cowboys are on the cusp. They've hovered near the top of the NFC for years but always seem to fall just short. Henry could be the missing piece. Not just a stat stuffer or fantasy darling, but a true difference maker in the most critical moments. Whether it's third and short in the red zone or closing out a playoff win with 4 straight bruising runs, Henry brings a level of certainty few players can. And for a team starved for playoff success and desperate to bring a Super Bowl back to Dallas, that certainty might just be priceless. Meanwhile, the Eagles will be watching closely. Their own title aspirations hinge on staying ahead of their rivals, and Henry joining Dallas puts pressure on every other contender in the NFC. Philly knows that to win the division and perhaps the conference they'll need to prepare for a different kind of Cowboys team. One that doesn't fold late in games. One that controls the pace. One that punishes you over 4 quarters. So as the offseason chatter builds and training camps inch closer, all eyes will be on Jerry Jones and the Dallas front office. Will they make the move? Will they finally give Doc and this offense the hammer they've been missing? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, if Derrick Henry dons that star on his helmet in 2025, the entire NFL better take notice, because the Cowboys won't just be America's team anymore, they'll be the most dangerous team in football.